Hey everyone, good morning, good evening to the intellectual world of LinkedIn. As you know, I'm here today again discussing about a lot of things. Uh, First and foremost, I would invite everyone to be part of the cybersecurity drill 2020, and I'm on one of the panel with Doreen. That's the best part of. Doreen is director BDT of ITU, International Telecommunication Union. International Telecommunication Union is the ICT arm of United Nations, and in many capacities in the online and the offline world I am associated with them. That is one part which that's one of the role play I'm playing right now. Then the other role play, I'm into policy making in terms of I give my opinion on a lot of topics, anything to do with technology, law, business. um, that's where my forte is all about. And the third aspect is be the change you want to see in the world. I think when I was in Geneva in 2018 for the WSIS forum, two main things which were very much I would say which very much resonated my with my own personality was definitely going. I went to see the Indian embassy there. It was really cold, chilly, cold day, and just maybe besides the United Nations building was the statue of Mahatma Gandhi, and the engraved message was "My life is a message," and I was like, whoa. And I was like, I was just there for a while, and I was trying to understand the node. And the node which connected with me at that time was first, he's an Indian. Second, he was a lawyer. So that was my, I would say, the node which with which I connected. And Dr. Rakesh was there, Francesca was there, and we discussed a lot of things about MK Gandhi. And today we are celebrating the 150th year, the birthday year of MK Gandhi, and I think was he a visionary, or uh, was he able to see or foresee what's incoming? I think in many aspects, yes. At least the way I see things in terms of whatever I've read about him, I still do a lot of reading in terms of understanding those nodes and whatever is happening right now. Taking a step back, the another thing which was very prominent at the headquarters of ITU was Natraj, and that too the dancing pose with the dancing pose, and it was like very prominent. And I think history itself has talked about so many things about the creator of the universe. And that being said, I think it's a belief system first of all. And then I attended one of the TED talks there, which was really enriching once again. And I think each one of us has goals, whether it's a short term goal or a long term goal. We acknowledge or not is the question the youth of India needs to answer. Today, just few moments back, I was talking to a very young, energetic, I would say, youth from Hyderabad, and we had a conversation regarding his idea or the change he wants to see, and he wanted to file a patent application. So one thing which again resonated today is the youth of India. I think a part of the youth of India is the enlightened youth who know, whether it's a male or a female, that they can be the game changers. I think the capability of game changing is there in every one of us. It's just that how we collate the nodes and think the bigger picture and believe in the system that it is ought to happen or it is happening. Stating the fact, I would like to talk about Paytm today. Why Paytm? First thing, Paytm as a business model. Started with 197 way back, and it started from Noida. What I remember, because that's the time they had one person had connected from that company regarding their patent filing. And today, yes, they have grown leaps and bounds, which is a good thing. And I had discussed this case study in one of the DOT ITU workshops which happened in New Delhi last year. After the workshop, I was asked by various authorities, what's my association with Paytm? And simply I stated the fact, there's no association with Paytm. I just thought Paytm is doing well in the current scheme of things, and I see potential in that company. So that was the only association I have with Paytm. The conversion never happened in those years with Paytm. That point of time, it was not even Paytm. However, I think my reason of selecting Paytm among any other app, today Paytm is a super app, and obviously the vision and mission of Paytm has jolted little bit, because the way I had reviewed Paytm at that point of time was, if somebody has to pay 55 rupees 55 paise, they can pay that change also. So that was the main intent of Paytm, with which it was started. However, in this lockdown period, or whatever period you can talk about right now, I was at 24/7 store, and if you are paying by Paytm, they were rounding it off to the next figure, which is, say for example, if the bill amount is 55.55, they made it 56. And from each customer, if they do that, then where's the transparency? The whole idea of getting people online, when we talk about digital economy, is to be transparent. At least these companies have to be transparent, or the association with any of the tie-ups, that has to be transparent, because SGD goals talks about transparency at every level. That is one point. Another, I think, pressing issue is know your customer. Especially, I believe when a loyalty card is made, and this happened with me with Mark and Spencer. I went to Mark and Spencer, I checked my details, everything, and I purchased what I had to. And I went to Mark and Spencer, another store, few days after, and they changed the details. Then I asked them that I had explicitly seen the details of my loyalty program. Why did you change it? And why that data is not the correct data? First thing, no company should take the data and rig it. I think the rigging of these data by these companies, Mark and Spencer is supposed to be a company with a lot of, I would say, brand. There's a lot of brand associated, or the brand loyalty is associated with Mark and Spencer. But this is something which is happening with Mark and Spencer. So that is another issue. I think the international authorities have to intervene and see that the customer data is the correct data. They should not rig the data. And when the customer is aware about the data, and then you are changing the data, and they were just looking at their faces. So I think this is something which should be taken into consideration. And when we are talking about digital economy, another thing which happened, it happened at Chroma. I purchased something for which I was not carrying the bill, and I had to make some changes in that. So I was asked that I have to have that paper bill. My point is, when we are able to retrieve the data of the user by different means, why the person has to carry that paper data with them? I think a lot has to change. Then somebody had come to me and they stated that, ma'am, no, you don't have to give that paper invoicing. So I think when we talk about digital India means at least the best of the companies who are the reputed companies in India, they should not traumatize the customer. I think customer is the king, customer is the queen, customer is the princess or the prince. in that regard. I think that is something these companies need to work on.